Hi everyone. I thought it'd be cool if I tried to post monthly video updates of the work I've been doing as CJU's Climate and Health Organiser, just so I can stay accountable to you as members and to make this more of an exchange and collaboration, because none of this work can happen without you being a member and sharing your capacity. So the first few weeks of my role have mainly been me showing up, introducing myself and listening in the various spaces CJU holds and sits in that deal with climate, justice and health. I've started to build relationships with some of the people who've been doing this work for much longer than I have, understanding the background and context of these spaces, and beginning to understand some of the tensions and obstacles as well. I've also started doing some work around disaster resilience, which includes engaging with the consultation process around the Community Disaster Resilience Strategy, which is a policy process that will inform the state government policy around emergency management and disaster resilience in the future. I'll actually be sending out an email to you shortly, probably today, with some more updates on how CJU is engaging with this process and with disaster resilience more broadly as a climate justice issue. So stay tuned for that. As part of my learning in this process and in my role more broadly, I watched a presentation by Mark Crosweller, and he said something I found really useful. And so I thought I'd share that bit of learning with you. To paraphrase, he said that disasters are not natural. There are natural hazards such as extreme weather, but these natural hazards don't necessarily need to be disasters. What makes something a disaster is the inequitable allocation of resources and decision-making power that goes into the poor planning and policy, which leaves people more vulnerable to suffering and being impacted from these events. So in essence, injustice, oppression, inequality, which are not natural or inevitable. So that really shifted things for me, because going into this area of disaster resilience, my idea of disaster preparedness was like having an evacuation kit ready, or like bushfire warning systems or cyclone warning systems. Like, these are all important, but like they're only one small piece of what disaster resilience means. And all of that stuff felt really separate from the big systemic climate justice work that I wanted to be doing. But really, like, all of those things are linked and connected. And that really transformed this notion of disaster preparedness for me. And so I found that really useful, and I hope you do too. I'll link that presentation along with anything else I've mentioned in this video in the comments or in the post, so that you can refer to it later. Now, finally, I want to end with a question for you that I've been thinking a lot about, and I would love it if we can have a bit of a chat about it. I know we're all dealing with so much in our day-to-day lives. Just existing as a human takes so much energy and time and work. And I know this can lead to a feeling of wishing we could do more in climate justice organizing or activism, or maybe feeling like we're not doing enough in this space. I know I've definitely felt like this. And so I really want to know from you and your point of view, like, how do we make this work easier for us? How do we make it more accessible? What would you practically want and need to be more effective and to feel supported, to offer, your time and resources to do this work? Does it look like mutual aid? Like maybe a local community meal roster to take some of the pressure off of like housework and cooking, or like after school homework clubs, so that sort of work of like caring for your kids after school is spread out and distributed, so that you have more time and energy to volunteer and organize, and feel more connected and supported with your community as well. Is it just more training and skills building? Maybe you have really specific needs that you need to be met when it comes to being able to volunteer and give your time, and you're unsure if those are compatible with doing this work. And I want to say it is literally my job to facilitate that. So if you're concerned about those things, or you have specific requirements, please reach out, because it is our duty to make this work accessible and safe for everyone. So those questions, like what would you practically need to be supported? I'd love your thoughts, and maybe we can brainstorm some creative solutions as a community of people in this space, so we can figure out how to do this job of climate justice without it taking even more out of us than we can give. I would really love your insights to this. And so yeah, if you leave a comment and just, let's have a conversation. And also if you're interested in any of the work that I've talked about, or want to be involved, or have any questions, please feel free to email me or find me on the CJU Slack. And like I said, everything I mentioned and referred to, I will link, along with a transcript of this video as well, if that's useful. But yeah, I hope you're all safe and well, and I'll see you soon.